Good morning. This is your 10 a.m. daily weather briefing. We've seen those clouds continue to increase over the area, currently looking at some overcast conditions out there. Additionally, as expected, starting to see those winds pick up. Seeing peak gusts up around 23 to 24 knots, so just below our wind advisory criteria, but do expect a good chance of seeing the wind advisory as we continue into the later portion of the morning and becoming likely as we get into the afternoon. Overall, we'll see a fairly dry weather day ahead and quiet outside of those breezy conditions, but we will see some unsettled weather moving into the area as we move through the first half of the week, as we do expect rain becoming likely as we move through the overnight time frame, and we'll keep rain in the forecast as we move through Tuesday as well as into Wednesday. And we'll start to see improving conditions as we get into the second portion of the week with those unsettled conditions moving away from the area. If we take a look at the current surface analysis, we have a weak area of low pressure just off the Carolina coast, and that's going to be what brings those unsettled conditions into the area as that slowly moves northward and inland over the area and continues to linger in the region before dissipating, weakening, and then moving out of the area off to the northeast. Otherwise, seeing this area of high pressure to the north, that's helping to keep that pressure gradient on the tighter side as we move through the day today, as well as into tomorrow. We'll see breezy conditions today and windy conditions as we move into our Tuesday. Our upper level winds from this morning sounding, looking at that northeast to east northeasterly flow in those lower levels where we see the strongest winds with the peak wind 29 knots at 3,000 feet. Winds a bit weaker as we go into the mid and upper levels, and our freezing level right around 13,000 feet today. Look at a current visible satellite and radar. We can see those clouds building in over the area. Continue to see that trend with those cloud bases lowering as we move through the day today. Do have some light radar returns, mainly the areas south, but as that moves into the local area, really seeing those radar returns weaken, mainly picking up on some thicker clouds and some elevated precip, but not expecting any surface precip outside of maybe a light sprinkle as we move into the afternoon time frame. Look at a high resolution model, see how things play out for the next 2 days. Again, as mentioned, mainly dry conditions today, some light radar returns indicating maybe a light sprinkle, but generally some elevated cloud or elevated precip and thicker clouds. As we move into the evening time frame, we'll start to see increasing chances for some rain showers, particularly as we pass the 18 local time frames. We can see a bit more in the way of some showers swinging through the area, rotating around that area of low pressure. I will note that this high resolution model probably underselling the coverage, but nonetheless expecting rain likely, particularly as we get into the early morning hours of Tuesday. We'll continue to see some increasing winds with this as well, with those wind gusts becoming quite strong, up to 30 knots as we get into the start of the day on Tuesday. Moving through Tuesday, we'll see that area of low pressure continue to rotate just inland, and again, a bit underdoing what will likely be the coverage for tomorrow with the high-res model here. We'll likely see on and off rain showers through the day with a chance for some embedded thunderstorms with that activity as well, and we'll see those winds really peaking during the day on Tuesday with those peak gusts up to 40 miles per hour as we move through the day. And we'll see those winds finally starting to weaken as we go into Wednesday evening, but we will keep some lingering, more scattered chances of rain showers around, slight chance of thunderstorm, and then we'll see those chances of thunderstorm decreasing with some lingering rain activity as we go into Wednesday. So looking at the European model here, starting off Wednesday morning, as we see that area of low pressure still lingering just to our south, but fairly weak. We'll continue to see some rain activity lingering over the area on Wednesday. Very slight chance of a thunderstorm at this time for Wednesday, and we'll see those winds just slightly breezy, so much weaker than what we'll see today and into tomorrow. And then eventually, as we move into the second portion of the week, into the day on Thursday, we will see that area of low pressure continue to weaken and pull off to our east northeast. And then with that, we'll see things improving and quieting down as we move into that second portion of the week, with things looking mainly dry. Maybe a lingering light sprinkle on Thursday, but not a lot of high confidence in that, as we do expect the system to be pulling out of the area. And we'll see dry conditions as we move into the end of the week. Looks like we'll see a warm-up on Friday with some slightly above average temperatures, and then moving into the weekend, we'll see a backdoor front move through the area as this area of high pressure builds and strengthens well to our north. It's going to bring some onshore flow once again during the day on Saturday. We can see the European model hints at a very slight chance of maybe some light sprinkles along that backdoor front, but mainly just picking up on some cloud cover and some onshore flow is going to bring back those cooler conditions as we move through the weekend forecast there. So our 24-hour weather risk chart for today, we do have some color as we move through our morning hours. Yellow risk for those winds at or above 25 knots, increasing to an orange risk as we get into the afternoon, and as mentioned, increasing to a red risk as we move into Tuesday morning time frame. Expecting those winds to continue to increase, eventually peaking out of the northeast 12 to 17 knots this afternoon, gusting up to 26 knots. And then we'll see those winds staying breezy through the overnight hours, eventually peaking up around 30 knots as we get into the early Tuesday morning time frame. We'll see our high temperature up around 75 degrees this afternoon. And as we get into the evening, that's when we'll start to see that slight chance of a few showers, mainly after the 18 local time frame, and then those chances will gradually increase as we move through the overnight time frame, increasing to an orange risk, becoming likely after midnight, and then we'll see those rain showers in the area for sure as we get into the start of the day on Tuesday. We'll see our low temperature cooling down to around 64 degrees. Tides running slightly above normal, and as mentioned, Tuesday we'll continue to see rain showers around the area with a chance for some embedded thunderstorm activity, so a yellow risk for that lightning possibility and red for our precip risk there. We will see our windiest day on Tuesday as well, so red for those winds that are above 25 knots, likely seeing that wind advisory sometime at times today and into the evening, and then continuing into the day on Tuesday. But Tuesday we'll see those peak gusts up to 40 miles per hour, seeing those high temperatures around 71 degrees and some yellow risk for some low clouds and reduced visibilities with that shower activity. Tuesday evening we'll see cloudy to mostly cloudy conditions continuing, scattered rain showers, looking at an orange risk for precip, so still looking likely, and a slight chance of a thunderstorm in the area. And some slightly breezy conditions early, but as mentioned, we'll start to see those winds weakening as we move into the day on Wednesday. Still staying slightly breezy, but expecting green conditions for our wind advisory criteria, but keeping an orange risk for continued shower activity around the area and a bit less of a chance of seeing any thunderstorm activity on Wednesday with a high around 76 degrees. Looking at the extended forecast here, we start to see things quiet down as we move through the remainder of the work week. Thursday, again, just a 15% chance of maybe a lingering sprinkle, but again, I think we'll see that trend downward. But overall, cloudy conditions and temperatures in the upper 70s. We'll see our warmest day on Friday with temperatures in the low to mid 80s with mostly sunny conditions, and then that backdoor front comes through and cools things off Saturday into Sunday back into the mid 70s. And we'll see some breezy conditions with that backdoor front and some increased clouds at times between Saturday and Sunday. That's going to wrap up the 10 a.m. daily weather briefing. We'll be back again tomorrow at 8:15 and 10 a.m. Enjoy the rest of your day.